guys, we are back for
We're
another.
back.
You don't never let me speak.
I got your back, man. I got your back.
We are back for what we're gonna wrap up. Walk into a bar. But before we went to commercial break, Miss Naya was speaking, so we want to give her the platform for her to finish that thought, and then I'm gonna kick it back over to my big brother. He's gonna take us down a different path. So Miss Naya, the floor is yours.
Okay, Deb. So I actually want to go back to the border crisis. Aside from the thousands of dollars that are being paid for by Americans to fund these immigrants, I want to talk about sex trafficking. Under the Biden administration, sex trafficking numbers have tripled. Under Trump, we had it at an all-time low. And one of those reasons is because Biden and Harris signed off, I don't know the terminology 100% because I'm just getting into this, but they signed that they no longer have to do DNA testing at the border. With that being said, many people are able to traffic. They don't know if these kids are even with their parents.
Missing reports.
Exactly. There's no testing being done at all. The numbers have tripled. And I mean, I honestly believe, if you look at, and I really do encourage everyone to look at Agenda 47, there's videos there where Trump kind of breaks down certain things that's been happening in our country that is getting covered up by the media that wants to say that everything is a lie. But the fact is, there are a lot of things that are happening that aren't getting the attention that it should. Did anyone see Sounds of Freedom? It was a movie about sex trafficking.
With the military guy?
This
now accused and convicted of sex trafficking?
That part.
I'm just
That part.
Yeah, that's
Well, I
it.
didn't know that.
Exactly.
Let's just speak on what you just brought up. So when you talk about sex trafficking and things of that nature, you're talking about things that were done under Trump. When Trump put all those kids, he took all of those kids from their parents. They didn't do a list. They didn't do a manifest of where those kids came from or who they belonged to.
Child
and then they
separation
just said that
policy.
they lost tens of thousands of kids. Where do you think those kids are? They're in homes being brutalized, sex trafficked, used as indentured servants.
Absolutely.
Nobody talks about that. So when you want to talk about sex trafficking, think of where all of those kids that Trump took under the whole immigration at the
child
border.
separation policy.
Exactly, that he put into place. Where are those kids? So you can't say that things went exponentially under Biden. That's because Trump took kids and put them in a system and gave them to people across the country who have no idea, they don't have any record of where these kids are.
So I was going to speak about that
but
too, actually.
hold on,
right
so you have three. Who cares about right now? Do you care right now if your three children? No. If your three children were gone for 3 years, do you care about right now, or do you care about what you went through for the 3 years? Because let me tell you, when my children were little, the school lost my kids one time. The range of emotions you go through from the time somebody tells you that they don't have your child until the time they tell you they got your child.
Exactly.
You can't tell me the torture that somebody goes through. So when you say, well, that's right now, 3 years these children are missing. Nobody knows where they are. Can you imagine when they're sitting in their room wishing their parents would come? Praying for somebody to come. How? Because of Trump, not because of Biden. We're telling you. I am telling you. Where do you think those sex trafficked kids come from? Where do you think they came from? Where do you think those numbers exponentially came from? They came from those children that they took from immigrants who were coming here. What do you mean? The parents are still incarcerated. They don't have any rights. It's the same thing.
All the new people that are coming.
What new people? Okay.
So many people.
Let me ask you a question. Can I ask a question? Just really quickly. You brought up sex trafficking.
Yes.
Is that a brand new problem under Biden?
No, but it
No. Is it a brand new problem under Biden? Ma'am, is it a brand? Okay, how long has sex trafficking been going on?
Probably since the
beginning of time.
Exactly. So let's be, again, talking facts.
Okay.
You are a Trump supporter.
Yes.
We respect that. But let's be honest in facts. When Donald Trump came into office, him and his cohort called Stephen Miller and Ken Cuccinelli and Jeff Sessions implemented a policy called the child separation policy. When that happened under Donald Trump, and not before that, you can talk about Obama, you can talk about all the other ones you want to, that's fine, but you're a Trump supporter, so we're going to focus on that and be speaking in reality. It didn't just happen. Child trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking is not just a Mexican problem. The Chinese import their humans via container trucks on barges and come through ports of entry and get checked off, and they're here working in massage parlors and Chinese restaurants, living in New York dorms, shifting out beds. Like, that's real life. It's not just the Mexicans. So let's start there.
I didn't say it was.
But you want to talk about human and
The
sex
border.
trafficking, and you want to talk about the border. I want to talk in reality.
Well, I'm just
So-
saying the changes that have been made under
So
their administration.
under your person that you support, him and his administration, as documented, it's not made up. We didn't go to Breitbart.com. We didn't just make it up out of fantasy. He implemented a child separation policy to deter other people from the Central American countries from coming here. Can we agree that that's what the reason was for that?
I
No.
haven't looked into that.
Can we
I don't
agree?
know.
You haven't
Oh my
looked into
God.
that. Okay, so now we're talking about things that you haven't looked into. The fact is, Guatemala, Pennsylvania, the Darien Canal is where the people and the humans come in, the caravans that everybody loves to talk about. That's where the human trafficking comes in. And it's not just kids, it's women, it's men, it's everybody being abused by the United States Border Patrol.
Yes.
And brought into this country by means of major corporations. Do you know who Betsy DeVos is? No. Okay. Betsy DeVos used to run the Department of Education under Trump. Betsy DeVos has a child adoption agency. So the children that were lost under the Donald Trump separation policy ended up in her Christian adoption agency. How do you take account to someone that's being adopted that you don't know who they are, where they came from, who their parents are, or anything about them? Is that a legal adoption? Just answer the question, yes or no. If your child was taken, heaven forbid, and they didn't know where that child came from and someone adopted them, is that a legal adoption, yes or no? Okay, so that's what happened to a majority of those kids that you're worried about, the child sex trafficking. That's where they went, and that's where they went. So a lot of Christian adoption agencies took those kids, and as Kim said, they are now being abused. Not under Biden, even though you might say they tripled, it started viciously, purposely, maliciously under Donald Trump. So I'm gonna end that real quick, and let me just kind of get to. Wait. I'm gonna finish my thought, and then I'm done on the convo. You are respected. You are appreciated. We value your opinion. Period. Your thoughts and ideology that you just came to a little while ago, understandable. You're not the only one that thinks like that. And that's why I'm happy I'm here to be able to have that conversation with you. What I know isn't what I Googled. My eyes, my knowledge, my life experience has gotten me to a point where I can absolutely with 100% certainty say, when you say the lesser of two evils, it's not Trump and Biden. It's not Trump and Kamala. Donald Trump is evil, period.
Disagree.
All right, you can disagree with that, but my eyes, my experience, my knowledge of how you treat another human being does not show in the actions, the words, and the deeds of Donald Trump.
So why is it that there was not one single new war under Donald Trump?
My love, do you know Syria?
How many
do you
people
know
vote
Uganda?
for Donald Trump that was on his cabinet? If the people who are closest
Thank
to him
you.
aren't voting for him, why would you think that you should vote for him? When the
Why
people who have been in his
95%
cabinet,
of Camilla's staff just quit.
Well, no, but what about all of those? And I'm just going to put this out there, and it popped up. You have just the town hall that he had most recently, where the gentleman stood up and identified himself as a former Republican, but he made it very clear why he was not going to vote for Donald Trump, how he did vote for him before, but he won't be doing it again. He is one out of it. He had a laundry list of
January
reasons.
6th was the main one,
Yeah,
though, because
the-
I
the
saw
fact
it with
that-
my
yes,
eyes.
the
I
fact
saw
that
it,
he
yeah.
allowed them to take over the Capitol in
And
the
sat
way
there
that
and
he
watched.
did.
so you don't feel
Told
that?
them to leave peacefully.
No. Stand by and stand down.
Out there. That's the thing.
It's called throw rocks
Are
and
you-
hot hands.
And gaslighting. Your generation made gaslighting. How do you not understand
Hold
gaslighting?
on, someone who hasn't spoken a lot.
Yes, boom.
Boom!
Boom!
This was just like a little bit what me and you was talking about earlier. Like we were saying, when you were saying about the clean block situation. We didn't have to have a government do that. And I also remember something that me and you did not go in the house before that street light came on. Me and you was what? Did the government have to do that?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Did
You
they-
must have read my mind for the next question, but go ahead and finish your
Good.
thought.
Exactly.
It's things that we it seemed like seriously. I
Exactly.
mean, like once we started like getting a few dollars, like around 85 and prosperity, something came in. We started to evolve our stuff and we threw all the basics. And something happened around, I heard something say, when I raise my kids, I ain't going to do that. And we left some ingredients. Now we lost the whole bag.
We rolling now.
So because at the end of the day, like we all we need at the end of the day, if it's Trump or whatever, because at the end of the day, we gonna still hold these same addresses and class status that we had. Money class statuses, broke is broke. But guess what poor is? Passing over opportunities repeatedly. So when y'all did have the wall, when
Did he
you
just
did
make up
it,
a word?
I want that on a t-shirt.
Can you
Say
make
that again. Say that again. Say that again.
I'm gonna hop
Say
back
that.
on that
Who is
word.
what?
He said he
Hold
put down
on.
the mic on
Who
that.
is what?
passing over opportunities repeatedly.
Okay.
Thank you.
But let me just say that to speak to what he's saying. Because
Absolutely.
1.7
you
trillion
can't give
dollars
what
we-
you don't
Actually,
have.
I'm going to let you start first because I'm going to drop the question because
Yes.
he came ahead of the game, then I'm going to bring it straight to you.
Yes, sir.
So first I was going to talk about globalism. They were saying that Trump was the only president that kept us out of it, not becoming that New World Order. They said that, but I'm going to leave that alone.
Who is they?
I know. Y'all in
Did
them
you know
days.
this? Come on, we
Who
know
is
you
that?
know this.
Who is that?
You know this ain't on
The
outside.
European Union said.
Come on, said it. Thank you.
The EU.
EU. Thank
There's
you.
no more United
Not the butt, but the other EU.
Doing the butt.
European.
Those.
Alec.
Hey, Alec,
Alec,
you better say
ALAC.
that.
They probably
ALEC.
they made this cut.
That's
themselves.
it.
We did
Yes.
that. We did that. The
Hey,
fellas,
go out
we did
question.
that.
Yes.
Boom, you my dude.
So
Thank you.
I
I fuck
operates
with
to
you.
piggyback on what he was saying because he took it straight from that question that I'm going to ask you.
Did he look at your notes? He shouldn't cheat.
No,
We came in here without
this
being
was here
prepared.
since last night. I was up all night watching.
Look, the brother scheming.
I was watching everything and I couldn't sleep. Right?
This is a rigged debate.
This is it. This is the question.
Somebody
I have for
turn my mic off.
Harris supporters, Democrats.
Yes.
For my pro-independent.
Yes.
For my Trump supporters. Right?
Woo.
This is what I said to a couple people. I said, why we never complain about the white people and who doing this and that when we're partying? When it's 4th of July, we don't say the white people holding us back from being a Sam's Club or any of those places.
Tell
so
it.
y'all please explain to me like we're talking about. When are we looking at the presidents, all the energy is on the presidents, but we say Congress is the one that makes the bills and he signs them.
Thank you.
What is our process as citizens and in our community that we make them accountable? Congress, not the president.
Thank
forget
you.
Trump.
Thank
forget,
you. Kamala, Biden,
Harris,
forget
and
all
that.
of them.
What do we do?
Exactly.
To start moving
Exactly.
forward, like he said, instead of
That's
being
it.
redundant and we stay in the
got you.
same cycle. I call it the hamster effect.
I got you.
Can I speak at the
start off
boom?
first.
I'll speak at
And
the
then you come
boom.
at the Kim.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shoot.
So I speak
Okay.
at the Kim. Why y'all do that to me?
No, because he's going this way. You can start.
No, just joking.
No,
Go ahead, Kim.
I just think
Boom.
so. If,
Boom was
if I'm
speaking.
understanding your question correctly, it's about the lack of just that we now have in terms of just being pliable to any particular party. Is that what I'm getting from
Not
you?
Harris off the table, not Trump off the table. Look at the
People
source that
power.
make, the people of power that make the decisions.
But that's
for us
because-
and why we don't, like he said, we go and lobby, right? That's what it is. Then we know the other people are paying payola for that stuff to go through the big corporations. Why are we not attacking that? Why are we
Thank
not
you.
unifying to get
Okay.
to that point?
I want to
So
get to
let's
that after
start-
boom.
Changes.
For
That's
sure.
We'll start with the very beginning, and I'm sure at a later show you can address the issue of electoral college, because the electoral college is what totally fucked up politics for the United States. However, we aren't taught civics in school anymore. So we don't understand that real change happens in the midterm elections. Everybody pushes for a presidential election, but midterm elections are where you elect your judges. They're where you elect your infrastructure, where the bills and the loans and things are passed for the, exactly.
Come down to a little
For
lower, a little
those,
less.
exactly. So
School
when
boards.
you're not going to your teacher talking about you have an issue with the classwork, you going to the Department of Ed talking to somebody who doesn't understand, who has 100 plus other schools underneath their discretion. You have to talk or bitch up to the people who are actually in a position to make that change. Now what happens is When I lived in New York, we had, like we were talking before off camera about the Fortune Society. The Fortune Society is one of the premier agencies where the mission in theory is the mission in practice regarding reentry, where people who are coming home from prison, who are marginalized, are given a chance, education, so on and so forth. I worked with them for a number of years. And one of the things that I will tell you is that people have to vote. You can be as apathetic as you want, but at the end of the day, a low voting district can turn a tide. That's why people have to come to certain areas. They may not come to Sandtown, Winchester, but they'll come to North and Long. I'm from North and Long. Right. So I know that if we get a community board together, if they need that vote, they're gonna come. When I owned a restaurant in Pigtown, Hogan came to my restaurant. His lieutenant governor came to my restaurant to inquire for our vote. That's how we know we powerful, when you gotta come to me. But what we don't do is hold them accountable for the things that they should do in terms of quid pro quo. We need an MOU. We need a memorandum of understanding. We need a letter of intent. We need for you to say, okay, I'll give you my vote, but you're gonna give me 100+ jobs for the people in my community for this new development you're doing. You're gonna funnel funds to my school, and you hold them accountable. We don't hold them accountable. We write that check for the vote, and then we sit back and complain that we in a deficit in our bank account because they not doing what they supposed to do. But the ones who are that are holding their feet to the fire are the ones who paid all that lobbying money. They know which side their bread is buttered. So if we as a community start saying, no, we're not gonna take this, no, that money that you get from the casinos and the lottery that you said we're gonna go to schools, they're not just gonna go to schools in Moe County. They're gonna go in Baltimore City, where we need them, where you already have those casinos set up. So we have to hold them accountable and stop acting like the presidential election is the only election. The midterm election is the major election that deals with the life and the conditions under which you live, from your trash, your recycling, your potholes, all of that. Those are people that you hold accountable.
That's accurate.
Community.
Boom, and I would like to follow him when Boom is done.
Community.
Well, I'm gonna just give a base side of the, like I say, the pro-independent, which is again the fellowship community of Baltimore. Out of our page, we came from a corporate citizenship standpoint. What that is that I'm gonna keep it a streetwise. Can a drug dealer come on your block and just sell drugs on it?
No, he can't.
What does he have to do? He has to pay a few dollars. Corporate citizenship, if you Google it, from Rite Aid, any business, as you know, even that drug dealer that's on that corner owes corporate citizenship. Once you as a community tribunal review board, that's what we have. I'm the political arm of the community tribunal review board of the ex-offender community of Baltimore, where I sit down with corporational men, those men who already gave up their corporate citizenship to us. They go and hold other court. I'm not going to hold the other court. I'm not holding you accountable for what you got to do. If you don't do it, you're going to we can deal with Plan B. That's not for the camera, because the United States and Trump got a military, and I'll ask y'all, what's y'all military? Because I hope it's not the police. So that's another thing. Our community has an executive branch, a judicial branch, and a legislative branch in your own government, in your community, in my fellowship community, that it takes a felon to lead a felon to the water or flames. Now check this out. We don't ask for nothing, because who loan you, own you. If I give you something, I can tell you what to do. Why you think that the ex-offender community go corporate citizenship and don't go from grant money? Or I've had to deal with the Democrats or the Republicans anyway, but I could just go to the corner store, get a relationship, and not call that Asian man ma, because I know their history ain't no ma, but one lady at my home, you owe me because you on my corner selling egg rolls. You got $3, I need $1, so I need these kids some books. You don't, and the Congress is going to come to you anyway, and you ain't got to do nothing but just register 40,000 voters of ex-offenders. They be knocking. Why would I come to y'all? Y'all don't even vote. And then this is another thing. It takes 4 black people to equal one person. So make sure you got 4 black people on the line with you, because y'all only count as 3/5 of a person. So again, it's into a nationality thing. If you want some black people to get some help, you better go get some white people, some Africans who have nationality. You better stop calling them African booty scratchers, because they have a nationality that can get y'all black people out of your non-nationality, unidentified.
And maybe get out.
So nothing ain't going wrong with it until you get an identity. And I ain't on that.
And so
Maybe
my
we
final,
might
Boy, give me some.
Yeah.
You better give me
my
some.
final thought is this.
Yeah.
All right. Again, I appreciate the
Come on.
spirited debate.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I agree. Right. At the end of the day, we all should be independent.
Yes.
Right. Because no one should be holding to anybody unless they're doing what they need to do for you and for your desires. Right. This system that's been set up is way older than us. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the institutional systematic racism is around way longer than us. And it's been put in place to make sure that people like you aren't able to rise above it, without jumping many hurdles. And we've watched in real time in 9 years how someone can trip over hurdles and still be elevated to a position of authority, which is the point in case, right? As a collective, we can only say and do what's best for us. And when we get bogged down into the personalities of things, we lose sight of what's important. Civil rights was just 50, 60 years ago. Slavery has been around 300-400 years. They want you to stop talking about slavery, ignore the fact that you just got rights 50 years ago, and make you keep on keeping on. And we can't keep on doing that. So this election isn't about Kamala or Trump. That man showed us who he was. He had 4 years in office. He did not get reelected. The people, by over 7 million people, told him no. And for the last 4 years, he's been campaigning, and he still can't get above his 48%, because that's just how much bigger the people we have. It started way before that, right? But if we know that collectively, it's not the lesser of two evils. If one party at this moment is trying to get you child tax credit, is trying to get you health care, is trying to get you small business loans, tax deductions, etc., I'm a benefit of government spending, and my benefit is providing permanent supportive housing to communities of, former incarcerated, mentally ill, etc. So I'm in it because I'm in it for a purpose, right? So what I would like to just finish off with, again, we can all have our different thoughts, our different points of views, but at the end of the day, what are you really fighting for? Are you fighting for an ideology, or are you fighting for the benefit of you and yours? And that's kind of where you need to go with. And it's not about what the Google said. It's what are the white papers saying that's going to be that law that's going to help you and yours. And that's the bottom line for me. So.
Wait, now you gotta look. And a child shall lead them.
The future.
Yes.
Come on, baby.
Let's go,
Come on, baby. You got your MAGA colors on. You better bring it.
Go red.
So, like you said, I'm not voting based off of his character, which I feel like everyone needs to kind of step aside from his character, because I agree that he could articulate himself a lot better in a lot of situations. But I'm just looking at the facts, and I feel as though, no hate to y'all, but I feel like just like anytime I've seen Kamala Harris get interviewed, when major problems are addressed, it's always reverted, oh, well, Trump did this. Oh, it's Trump's fault. Oh, Trump. Did anyone watch the Fox interview with her?
Yes, I saw it. Mm-hmm.
She was asked about
You know that's not a
border
news
crisis.
network, right?
It's entertainment.
It's not a news network.
Yeah,
It's an entertainment network.
Okay, well, I just want to...
No, I just want to let you know what you
Right.
looking at.
When she was asked what she would do about the border crisis, she literally starts to, the interviewer gave her the exact number that was calculated of people who have
Cross the border.
crossed the border. And he asked her, is there anything that you could do to change that? And she goes to say, oh, well, Trump's been running in office and she's like, oh, you know what I'm talking about. And he's like, no, I actually don't know what you're talking about. And I feel like the only thing I see her sit there and talk about is how she's a middle class. She grew up in a middle class, or her and her sister grew up in a middle class family, when she didn't struggle like probably none of us that are sitting right here at all.
Syrup sandwich, right?
But anyway, aside from that,
Right. I've had syrup sandwiches, and I know how to make ramen 10 different ways. But go ahead, yes. The struggle
They get
is
the film
real.
on top that you peel and then the cheese underneath.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm listening.
Aside from that, I don't agree with a lot of the things that I feel like over the past 4 years have been pushed upon our people.
Like what?
For one, I don't care what anyone says. I do not believe that a transgender should be able to compete against a woman just because they say that they're a woman. It's not fair. You have a different
play sports?
biological makeup.
Do you play sports?
Yes, I did.
Okay, do you play sports?
I'm a gymnastics coach. So.
Okay, but do you play sports?
Yes.
No, if you don't right now, what does that matter to you? That's what I'm trying to
I just don't
point.
think it's fair because now a bunch of people who are transgender
I
are
agree
now
with her on
taking
that.
those awards from people who biologically
That's like
are
5
women who
people
have
out
a
of all the
disadvantage.
sports, right?
I don't think anything,
So that's just
anything
one
is
thing.
fundamentally
Right, go ahead.
all
I'm
or
sorry,
nothing.
Naya,
I
let her
don't
finish,
think
let
that
her
all
finish.
Democrats think that, you know,
Right.
people who are transgender should be able to use, you know, I don't think that intersectionally that those things are exclusively one party or the other. I think that people are complex enough to have different views on different aspects of different social ills and issues. However, when you talk about the fact that people who are marginalized should be able to speak up and be represented, yes. Do I think that certain dynamics overtake others? Yes, I do. However, you have a right. My thing is this, and even though the country is supposed to be a Christian country, I view myself as a Christian. My job is not to judge you.
Okay.
My job is to tell you my viewpoint, give you the rules of what I think God said, and for you to go about your life because you have to be judged for yourself. I always tell people, I got a lot of shit I got to give some examples, you know, some excuses for to the Lord for myself. So I've been working on them for 54 years. God forbid I die because I ain't finished all of them. It's going to be some unanswered questions. But
Let's still go on and on.
Exactly. But my point is, I don't think that you should take one view and say that that is exclusively a Republican view. I think people are more complex than that. I think that at the end of the day, in terms of Trump versus Harris, it is a fight for civil liberties. It is a right for social rights. It is a right for racism. It is a fight for the ability for women to have autonomy. If you look at how he stacked the Supreme Court justices, there are things that have happened and things that are put in place. When you talk about Project 2025 isn't Trump, the people who funded Trump, the people who made Trump, the people who still make Trump made Project 2025 that he signed off on.
Heritage
it's not like
Foundation.
he's saying he didn't disavow Project 2025.
But why
So
is that what she's pushing so hard instead of his
because
Because that is literally their
okay,
playbook.
because he's already put 2025 as his thing.
I didn't even get to
I'm sorry.
She really didn't.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's gonna be a part
I'm
two.
sorry.
We
I want to
got time
allow
for
you
you.
to finish out
Yes,
your thoughts,
finish
and then
your
we're
thought,
going
Naya.
to close it out because I promise you we can have this conversation
All
Yay.
day.
and the bar is getting ready to close.
Last call for-
Christian women and
It's the
anybody
last
else.
call.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
would be my thing. Make your statement. Don't ask the question because it's going to get folks to respond back
Yeah.
to
Well,
you.
let's just do this. It's just going to be a yes or no question.
Yeah.
That's not going to
You
happen.
answer.
No.
You can do
No.
that though.
Okay.
Finish your
Can we
thought,
do that
Naya.
off camera? Because if I'm not allowed to give my view on camera, then it's not fair. So we
Finish
can have
your
that
thought, Naya.
conversation off
Finish your
camera. You
thought.
can give your closing.
State your stand.
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right, I'll leave that.
Bro.
Well, one of the things, like I said, I don't agree with that. She's pushing for censorship, saying that on social media platforms, they need to be filtered, which is literally a violation of our First Amendment right. I mean, that's a that.
Yeah, because I want to do what I want to do on my page.
That's just completely, that's literally going against our amendment, the First Amendment. Number 3 is that, I mean, this kind of goes back to the men being able to compete in women's sports. I feel like the whole transgender agenda is being pushed onto very young children. At that, we have daycares that are
that's
doing drag queen shows, and that's something that
Yeah.
Trump is against. That's something that
That's
he
a
speaks
winner.
about. We don't need this.
He's a drag queen. He has on like he wears makeup and a wig.
No, I understand.
Put prayer back into
Not
schools.
Rude
The
Trump.
power of prayer is strong. That's something
Oh
that
my
I
gosh.
feel like the left, they don't address at all. Actually, I just saw the rally where somebody shouted in the crowd, "Jesus is Lord," and Kamala responded, "I think you're at the wrong rally."
That's not what happened there, my love. That's not
All
what
right, so here
happened.
we go.
Right, right.
All right,
Go ahead, go
wrap it up,
ahead.
Can
Yes.
we do one more?
Like
Give me
I
one more.
said,
Love the
on
internet.
the No New Wars, which is true, y'all can all look that up. Trump didn't start one new war. Everyone said when he gets elected president,
'Cause he's friends with
going to
dictators.
A nuclear war, but the fact is that he made peace. The fact is that
No,
That
my
is not
girl, he
peace.
did
That's
not.
not
he was
peace.
the only
No,
U.S. president. The only U.S. president to step foot in North Korea and made peace. And you can look at that.
May Frieza made a new bestie, boo. Like Kim Jong-un is his bestie. Like, what are we doing?
You gonna have to close the ball.
Please invite me back, please.
I
I gotta
on the platform, you are free to engage with our panelists. They'll be tuned into it. You can have your conversations with them. They'll respond accordingly on whatever platform it is so that we can keep the dialogue going. I felt like this was very much needed.
Woo.
I think that there was a lot said, a lot of insight. And I want to thank each and one of you for showing here and being authentic and transparent. Even when
Absolutely.
it felt like you had to argue it down.
Yes, indeed.
You held
Yes.
your own.
We're so friends.
And that
I'm
is
so
the
impressed
premise
by you.
Yes.
I
of
really am.
Walked into a bar. You never
Yay!
Show. Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
Raise up.
Raise up.
Everybody say ...
Walk into a bar.